Well, here we are in the last few days of December. At least that's when this podcast is being recorded. And that means this year is ending. Another year is about to start, which can be a slower time of year when it comes to voiceover. So if you have extra time on your hands, maybe you have some clients on vacation, or maybe there aren't as many auditions coming through, what can you do with that downtime so that you're still working on your voiceover business? That's what we're going to be talking about today on the podcast. Welcome back to another episode. This is episode number 21 of the Voice Acting 101 podcast. So we're just a few days away from starting another year, and this can either be a really busy time for voiceover, maybe some clients are sending you work to get last-minute projects done, or your schedule may be more open than usual because clients are taking time off this time of year. So in today's episode, I'd like to talk about some ways to spend your free time, if you have any, to help keep your business moving forward. So I've put together a list of questions you can ask yourself, and we're talking about this at the end of the year, but really it's a good idea to ask yourself these questions throughout the year. I know that I do. So the very first thing I want to point out is that I'm sure you know of many different things that you could go ahead and spend your time on in your business. If you're anything like me, there's always something that you can do, and there's always something that needs your attention. But for this, I'm not talking about busy work. I'm talking about using your time wisely and prioritizing the few things that are going to make the biggest difference in your business. And busy or not, there are only so many hours in a day. So I don't want to spend my time on things that may seem important, may feel important, may make me feel better, or something that I enjoy more. I don't want to spend my time on that if it's not going to make as much of a difference in the long run. So in other words, don't just work to work. It's best to work on things that are actually going to make a difference. And you also want to know when to take a break. Odds are you work hard all year long auditioning and editing voiceover and meeting deadlines and making clients happy. And if you find some time when your clients don't need you at this very moment, just enjoy it. And I know that it can be hard to relax if work suddenly slows up for a week or two, but just remember that your life, it's about way more than just recording your next voiceover or working all the time. So just make sure that you take that time off when you can. And if you're in a slow time of year like this, could be for you, then maybe that's the best time to take that time off for yourself. And if you're working from home like many voice actors do, it's hard to separate the work life from your home life, but you definitely need that separation and that time to just reset. So take a complete mental break from it if you need to. That can help give you some clarity and even spark some new ideas on what you can focus on in your voiceover business. Or if you don't feel like you need that mental break, you can use the time to, still take a break from the work, the normal routine, but just be thinking about some of the changes that you want to make and just brainstorming ideas on how you can improve your business. So the first thing I'd suggest is just to sit and think about the past year and make a list. Just think, first off, about your wins. What did you accomplish over the past few weeks or months? Maybe your biggest accomplishment was getting a microphone. Maybe it was recording a voiceover on a national commercial. Whatever it was, and as many as you can think of, go ahead and write down your wins. And try to keep track of your wins over time, no matter how small they may seem. Otherwise, you'll forget them, and then when you go to think back about them, you'll think that you didn't accomplish anything. When you actually did, you just didn't keep track of it. You can also list out things that worked well for your business this past year. That's going to help you. And then you also want to list out what isn't working well for you. So these are kind of areas that need attention. And like I mentioned, you want to focus on the areas that are a priority. And usually the three areas you can control that are going to make the biggest impact in your business are your product, meaning the quality of your recordings, your performance, and your demos, those types of things. And then second, your audition sources. And that's got to do with like the kinds of auditions that you receive and where they come from. And then the third is your processes. Are you running your business efficiently? Is it easy to send an invoice and to get paid? And are you staying in touch with clients? Do you have those processes in place? So we're going to cover those in a little bit more detail and ask you some questions to try to brainstorm with you. So starting with questions to ask yourself about improving your product. Are you happy with your recording quality? Is there anything that you can think that you could improve when it comes to the quality of your recordings? Maybe your room or your booth could use more absorption materials or something along those lines. You don't just want to buy and upgrade stuff for the sake of it, but hopefully you have an idea if something with your gear or your studio may be holding you back. Also, are your demos as good as they can be? Do they represent you in the best light? Maybe it's time for a refresh in the demo department. And your performance is also part of the product, so you want to ask yourself questions like, are you confident in your ability to deliver what clients are looking for? You know, when you see scripts and you see the direction, do you instantly know how to approach the script, or do you just give the same read style for every script that comes across? Are you able to match your voice to the script, or are you just reading to get it done? Are you auditioning every day but rarely landing the job? Then maybe some coaching or more practice or some kind of outside help could help you get past the performance roadblock that you may be experiencing. And then the next thing to think about is job opportunities and where they come from. So where do the majority of your auditions come from? It doesn't matter if you actually get the job or not. Just thinking about the auditions, are the audition opportunities that you have access to a good fit for you? So if you're on a freelancer website, how has it worked for you? If you're on a pay-to-play website or a couple of them, how much did you pay to be on that site? And then how much have you earned back? Was it a good investment for you? If you're represented by agents, are they sending you as many auditions as you'd like to have? And are you winning those auditions? If you're focused on social media, is it paying off and how? And then are your direct marketing efforts working for you? And then wherever the pay jobs are coming from, are the rates that you're being paid or that you're offered or that you're quoting clients, is that rate fair for the value that you offer, or do you feel like you're working too much for too little? And then for the jobs that you do work on, which projects did you enjoy working on the most? And then which ones did you get into and then by the end, you wish you hadn't? Why? Why did you feel that way? So you want to try to avoid jobs like that in the future. And there may be types of jobs or certain clients that you shouldn't work with anymore, and that could come out through this question and answer process. And then finally, think about how you work. So your workflows and your processes, are you making it as easy as possible for clients to hire you with as few emails or phone calls as possible? Think about your best clients. How can you serve them better? Are you staying in touch with clients? Do you have a process in place to remember to keep in touch, or are they slipping through the cracks? And working in VoiceOver creates a lot of files. Do you have a good organizational system in place for all the VoiceOver files that you record for clients and your demos? And then when you're doing invoicing and accounting, are you handling it as efficiently as you can? Does anything take more time than it should? Does your website have your newest demos? If your profile pages, if you have them on other websites, are your demos and your information on those sites up to date? Or do you need to send them your latest demos so that your best work is out there on all those pages that you may be listed on? And then does a week or two of slow business make you stressed? Like when you get into this period where maybe you have a slow week or two, are you stressed about it, or are you financially prepared for those slower times? And that really comes down to savings. Do you have the savings to carry you through? So with all these questions that I've brought up, don't only think of it as, is there a way to do something better, but you also want to think, could you do it faster? Is there a way to do it more efficiently and with less stress? And then after you've answered some of these questions for yourself, you want to go ahead and think about the future. What can you do differently, and what goals do you want to have in place for the near future? Because planning out an entire year, I think that's just too overwhelming. So I just recommend planning out the next quarter, which is 3 months. So what changes can you make and stick to? That's important. What changes can you make and stick to for the next, let's say, 12 weeks? And then when those 12 weeks are over, you'll be a quarter of the way through the year. You want to ask yourself these questions again. So what did you accomplish? What didn't work so well? What can be improved? And you can even keep track of those things throughout those 12 weeks. But at the end, you want to create new short-term goals for the next 12 weeks. And the answers to these questions, they can help show you what to focus on in your spare time so that you can make the biggest impact. All right, that's it for this episode. I know I asked you a lot of questions in this one. Hopefully it helps you to figure out what you should be working on right now in your own business. And don't forget, you can take a minute, record and upload your VoiceOver question for an upcoming podcast episode. I would love to hear that. So make sure that you do that, please. There will be a link below. All right, that's it. I'll talk to you next time. Have a great week. Hey, thanks for checking out this episode of the podcast. If you want to see another video, there's one waiting for you right here, or you can subscribe to the YouTube channel down in the corner. Or if you want to learn the 5 steps to becoming a voice actor, check out this free guide. It's available to download from voiceacting101.com/get started. All right, that's it. I'll talk to you next time. See ya.